We're here at Prolight and Sound on the Avid booth with Al, who's going to tell us about the new 5.1 software for S6L.
That's right, yeah, absolutely.
Al, what's it all about? What's new?
Okay, so the biggest thing that we've introduced is what we call expanded I/O, which means that we've increased the networking capabilities of the system so that we can connect to up to 3 Stage 64 stage racks. Mm-hmm. Now, what's important about that is each Stage 64 stage rack will give you up to 64 mic pre's. Right. So now we can have 3 of them connected to the system on a single AVB ring, mm-hmm. which means that we can have up to 192 inputs on stage. So a huge expansion in the I/O capabilities there. Mm-hmm. In addition to that, we've brought in some control surface workflow enhancements. Okay. The first thing that people will see when they walk up to the console is a completely new visual representation on the displays across the console there to provide more indication of what parameters are doing mm-hmm. on the encoders below them.
Right, okay.
And in addition to that, we've brought in the spill function. Now, spill is something that people know from our other venue systems, Profile, SC48, mm-hmm. the D-Show system. What we've done with S6L is bring in all of the workflows that people are used to in the older venue systems and the S3L as well, mm-hmm. but we've also expanded the capabilities by allowing you to spill an aux bus. So what that allows us to do is if you're a monitor engineer, mm-hmm. you can spill channels that are assigned to an aux bus, which is a new thing, and then engage a flip to faders or sends on faders for those channels, which allows you to navigate around the system in a very, very quick way and just get the things that are being routed into your aux mix or the on-stage mix for the artist.
Sounds pretty handy.
It is really handy. It just completely speeds up the workflow. It can be done from the central screen, can be done from the control surface with all the same workflows that Venue had, but just bringing in this extra capability that you can now do it for an aux as well as a group and a VCA. So for the monitor guys, it's really, really cool, really, really fast.
Right, okay, yeah. And so is there anything else that's on the horizon for you guys?
Yeah, so we've got a technology preview that we're doing right now for I/O sharing. Now, guys who are familiar with S3LX, they know that you can connect a number of different engines on the smaller venue system there, the S3LX, and share the mic pre between multiple systems, or share the stage rack that's feeding multiple systems.
Right, okay, yeah.
Now, what we've done on that system is we've introduced what we call gain tracking, which allows a compensation of the input gain across other engines, so that when a user changes the mic pre on one engine, it's updated in real time across the others, and it happens in a very seamless way. Mm-hmm. We've brought that technology into S6L, and it works in exactly the same way. The key takeaway here is that with our S6L systems, we introduced this thing that we call true gain, mm-hmm. and that means that no matter who controls the mic pre of the stage box that's feeding the system, none of the other users that are connected into that stage rack will notice that mic pre has been updated, because we have a very clever system of gain compensation, mm-hmm. which keeps your input gain the same on your system.
So if you have one system recording and another system controlling front of house, for instance, then you're not going to suddenly get a peak out of nowhere.
Absolutely, yeah. The gain structure will remain constant across all of them. Now, this is something that's been introduced in live sound consoles for quite some time. Yeah. But what's different with the way that we implement it is it's very hard to know who it's very hard to know. You know when you're operating this thing, but it's important that every user that's connected to the stage box and sharing I/O has the same experience. Yeah. So a guy that's controlling the mic pre will still have the same dynamic range of +10 to +60. A guy that is whose system is a slave of that input will still have the same gain range, +10 to +60, and all of the compensation happens under the hood to make the end user experience completely seamless. So you can still store that gain setting in a snapshot, store it in a show file, recall it. Doesn't matter if you're master slave, change the master slave configuration of your different boxes. Mm-hmm. Even turn off one of the other systems that the stage box is connected to, and it will continue functioning.
Wow, that sounds pretty smart.
It is, yeah. It removes any of the kind of the headache that you have when setting these things up, or trying to understand what your gain structure is when somebody else is controlling the mic pre. Sure. It's all under the hood.
So how does it actually do that then?
It does it by introducing a dynamic range of +50 and -50 to the overall dynamic range that we have in the digital gain portion of the channel strip. Mm-hmm. So what that allows us to do is, because the overall dynamic range of the mic pre is +10 to +60, that's a delta of 50 dB, right? So if we add an extra 50 dB below and above that range, that's the area that we can include the gain compensation.
Right.
What will allow us to compute that gain compensation. So that means that we can never exceed the bounds of the head amp, never exceed the bounds of gain compensation, I should say. And it also means that, in a very simple way, we remove the concept of you having to think about digital trim by the way that we've represented the gain control in the UI. So the gain control, even on a slave system, is represented as plus 10 to plus 60. On a master, it's also plus 10 to plus 60. So what it's doing is it's doing a highly intelligent range of calculations. That is, knowing what the mic pre-value is, knowing what the delay, what the gain compensation is, and knowing what end result the slave system wants, the user of the slave system wants. So if the slave system sets their gain to plus 20, all of the computation to enable that end result of plus 20 is done under the hood, which means that it will always be plus 20, no matter if your master gain, a master slave, snapshot, different show file, different system, it will always be plus 20 because that's what you set it at, and it knows, the system knows what it's connected to and what all the other components are to be able to do the correct calculation to give you that end result. It sounds, there's a lot going on under the hood, right?
Yeah,
but
sure.
the result is I turn it to plus 20 and I get plus 20 in every situation. So it just feels like you're not in a shared environment when you are.
Excellent. Okay. Yeah. So when's this going to be rolling out then, this new functionality?
Well, it's functionality that we're currently working on. So we've got it into a great state where you can see it here on the booth at G85, you can, where it's functional. The important thing for us to do is to make sure that it's as reliable as it possibly can be.
Right.
So we make sure that our test procedure is highly advanced and very, very detailed for this. So watch this space coming soon.
Okay, great.
Cool.